All right. Hey, y'all. Thanks for joining in on this first module on how to start a college or young adult ministry. I'm really glad y'all are jumping in on this, and I'm looking forward to getting started as we learn this and as we even tweak this as we go along to best suit you in your ministry and in your needs. I want to begin this cohort by having you answer really two questions, and I'm going to start this off with an illustration. So a couple years back, I was at a conference. And at this conference, the leader asked us as attendees to take the year of our birth and add the number 80 to it. And so we all took the year of our birth, we added 80 to it, and we got our number. And he said, okay, if you live the average lifespan of an American, which is about 80 years old, he said, this is the predicted year of your death. I was like, wow, that got serious real quick. And then he said this. He said, all right, now what I want you to do, I want you to take the year of your death, and I want you to subtract it by the current year that it is today. And he said, once you get that number, that's how many years you have left to live. And so he kind of started off, that was like super heavy content. And his point was the brevity of life. Like we only have so many days to live. And the question is how will you spend your days? Will you make your days count? And I want to start off with a similar question, though not necessarily that deep. And it's this right here. How long do you feel like you will be in this role you're in? How long do you see yourself in this role that you are in? Now, I know that question, you can't know that for sure. Circumstances happen, things happen. God in his providence, he chooses what he wants. But if you look at statistics, the average senior pastor stays at a church for 3 to 4 years. The average youth minister stays at a church for 18 months. So if we just give college ministers the benefit of the doubt, I think maybe an average span would be right around that 2-year mark, or for a college or young adult minister. And so you may stay longer than that, you may stay less than that. We don't know that, and you don't even know that. But let's just take, the facts for what they are, and let's say that God gives you 2 years in this ministry. What I want to ask you is what are you going to do with the 2 years? Or however long God gives you. And the reason why I'm asking this question is I want you to put a timestamp on vision. I want you to think about this ministry in terms of you're not always going to be here. If God gives you 1 year, if God gives you 2, 3, 4, 5, what do you want this ministry to look like at the end of your tenure? And will it be a place that makes reproducible disciples long after you're gone? So that's the first question. How long do you see yourself there? The second question is why are you doing this? Why are you in this role to minister to college and young adults? Were you not ministered to in that stage? And so that drives your passion to do this. Or maybe God sent someone to impact your life during this phase of your life, and so now you want to give back, or there could be various other issues, but I want you to determine, why are you doing this? Is it just a job? Is it a passion? Do you love young people? What is that passion? Because these two questions, how long will you be there? Why are you doing this? Really help us frame where we're going as you're creating a ministry. The how question gives you a timestamp, that you have an end date, that you are probably not always going to be here. And that may be 10 years down the road. It may be 1 or 2. We don't know. But let's just say 2 years. What could you create in 2 years that could create reproducible disciples long after you're gone? Let's put a timestamp on this so we think with some urgency, some clarity, and really set some foundational pieces in front of you as you begin to build this ministry that will be fruitful long after you're gone. And that why is the fuel. That's the passion that's going to drive you in this vision. And so there's really a couple of questions that are going to be in your sheet that I want to ask. It's really 3 questions. How long do you see yourself in this role? 2, why are you doing it? And the third one is that if you could wave a magic wand and this ministry could be whatever you dreamed of it being in the span of your leadership, what would that look like? What does this ministry look like? Let's say 2 years. And I want you to explain this in qualitative terms. Qualitative means we're not talking about I want 100 students and 10 leaders or whatever, but I want healthy disciples. I want reproducible disciples that are loving church and community. I want you to think about that, and I want you to think in the most robust way you possibly can to create a vision of what you would hope to accomplish in your tenure in leading this ministry. And if you want, you can use 2 years, you can use 3, you can use whatever, however many years you believe you will be there. But let's just think about that end date in mind, what's driving you, and what you would love for that to look like.